Hi everyone, this is Smriti. Welcome to QA automation classes. So today we are going to start a new series on the Selenium 4. Okay, so in this we'll see different things like I have listed out the course content here. So these are the few areas which we'll touch base and we'll go in depth for all of those areas. Okay, so the first thing we'll start with the Selenium architecture, how exactly Selenium 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the versions, right, are different in the architecture. Okay, and then we'll create the Selenium project and add the Maven dependencies, and we'll see what is the driver hierarchy in the Selenium 4 and why you are using the WebDriver instead of the specific driver. We'll understand the upcasting concept over there, and then we'll create the GitHub repo for adding the script and commit our first script, and then each class will be committing our code base to the GitHub repository. Okay, and we'll go through the locators in Selenium 2 and 3 and what are the new locators that has been introduced in the Selenium 4, and then we'll go through the introduction to the HTML, right? So because we need to understand those HTML tags and all before identifying going for the object identification through the XPath or CSS, whatever is there, right? So we need to identify those things. So we'll have little bit introduction into the HTML. We'll try to understand different types of the web element that can be present on a UI. Okay, and we'll go through the XPath and XPath access. We'll cover absolute XPath, relative XPath, and there are XPath access like text, contents, right, normalized space, and then following sibling, preceding sibling, ancestor, descendant, those things will cover there. And we'll have multiple sessions on the CSS, how you can identify the elements using the CSS. Okay, and we'll see how to do the pattern matching, like starts with some string or ends with some string. Those things also we'll see with the CSS. And then we'll see the relative locators, okay, which is the new implementations in the Selenium 4. Okay, and then we'll see the browser options and different types of the wait in the Selenium. Okay, thread.sleep is basically from the Java, and then implicit wait, explicit wait, and fluent wait. We'll look into that in detail. And taking the screenshot, how to take the screenshot of the particular web element, or you have to take the screenshot of the complete full page. Okay, and then we'll see the frame handling. If there are multiple frames, how exactly you are going to different frame and how you going to handle the element inside that. Okay, and how to interact with the multiple windows and tabs, this is also we're going to look. And alert, right? So what are different types of the alert, how to click on the OK or cancel, right? All those things we'll see. And how to handle the basic authentication. Okay, so if a site is there and it is asking for the authentication, right? So basic authentication, how the user can enter the username and password and gain access to the website. Okay, so print to PDF, if you want to print something to the PDF, how you can do that. And earlier you might have known we had the desired capabilities, but now we have the options. Okay, this is also in the great text and we will discuss. Okay, and how to run the script in the headless mode, working with the expert SSL website, and we'll also learn something called the page load strategy. Okay, normal load and eager load and none. Okay, these three types of the page load strategy also we'll see. And then we'll go into the action class. In the action class we'll have the mouse movement, double click, right click, drag and drop. Okay, and then CDP, Chrome DevTool protocols, these are all from the Selenium 4. So we'll see SSL expert site, how to emulate the behavior in the different devices and orientation, how to mock the geolocation, how to set the time zone, how to get the network tab access, right? Block the items in the network tab. Suppose you want to say your website is too slow to load, right? And there are a lot of CSS components and all are getting loaded, so you can block them. You don't want them to be loaded, so those kind of things we'll see. And how to set the network speed. Okay, how to print the console log, how to capture the request, right? Whatever the request and response goes in the network tab, we can see that. And how to print the header info, print the method name, print the URL, print the response. Okay, and then we'll start with the grid architecture, right? Selenium for grid, we'll see that in the standalone mode, grid in standalone mode, grid in hub and node mode, and grid in the distributed modes. Okay, and then TestNG framework run in the grid mode. We have already created our framework, so we'll try to run them in the grid mode. Okay, and run test in parallel mode through the local grid, this also will finish. and then we will see the Docker. Okay, what are the different use cases of the Docker with respect to the Selenium 4, and containerization we'll see, and usage of the Docker in Selenium, Docker commands, Selenium grid setup with the Docker, okay, and Docker Swarm, okay, video recording, and then also we'll look into the Kubernetes. Okay, so what is the use of the Kubernetes and Docker versus Kubernetes? So Kubernetes, Docker versus Kubernetes, then the cluster architecture, right? How does exactly a Kubernetes cluster look like? And set up Selenium grid with the Kubernetes and Kubernetes dashboard. Okay, and then we have CI/CD. So CI/CD with the Jenkins, and what is the CI/CD process, right? And how exactly you can create a pipeline in the Jenkins, and what are the different types of the pipelines? How to create a scripted pipeline? How to create a declarative pipeline? Those things we'll see, but these things I have already uploaded as part of the Jenkins playlist. Okay, so you should definitely go through these three videos, because most of the companies nowadays they're straight away asking about the pipelines, right? Do you have exposure to creating the pipelines and all, right? So this is definitely you can go through the Jenkins series. Okay, but I have listed it out with the Selenium because this is where we are going to run our automation scripts, right? So these three things you can get the information from the Jenkins play.